Well, hello, folks, and welcome to the Dieter Melhorn Fishing Podcast. I hope you're having a good day, whatever day it is that you happen to be listening to the show. It's fall. As you can tell by the hoodie that I've got on sitting here in the studio, it's a little bit chilly. It is getting more and more chilly in the mornings, and our daytime temperatures are starting to get not quite as high, man. For some of y'all in parts of the country, you probably, I would guess some of y'all in catfish country have seen below freezing temperatures. We have not here in the South. We've got some 40-degree temperatures. But I'm sure some of y'all, because catfish country is pretty diverse. It's widespread. There's a big concentration and focus in the kind of central to southeast with the blues and the flatheads, but man, we got people fishing all over the country. Colorado, California, Arizona, Minnesota, they're all over the country. I'm sure some of those people up north probably hit some freezing temperatures by now, but it's the bottom line is it's trending colder. That's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is kind of what's coming, what I see, what to expect, and what we've been seeing so far this year. We're past the peak of the heat is what it comes down to. We're into the airing of this, late November or late October. And, water temperatures are trending colder. We're getting less and less daylight. You're going to see that, the daily mean temperature, which is kind of the median temperature for the day between the coldest and the hottest, that is starting to come down. And as that comes down, that correlates with the water temperature. That's usually water temperature pretty close. So that means, well, right now it's kind of good. Fish are active, very comfortable is what we've been finding. We've been finding fish shallower. Up on flats. But to be perfectly honest, we found them all over the place. This is that time of the year when fish are widespread and temperatures shallow are great. It's very comfortable. We're probably in the 70s, 70-degree range right now, and fish are comfortable everywhere. There's bait is comfortable everywhere. And, our thermoclines are gone. So our deeper water is accessible to fish if there's something they like in that area. And that makes fishing for everyone very accessible, especially folks bank fishing. Bank fishing, this is a great time to be out because you can have fish shallow, you can have fish deep. You're not in a position where you have to find a certain depth of water to fish. And that's one of the good things about the fall. Just like we talk about in the spring, kind of the same thing happens. Some of these seasons kind of mimic each other. They're polar opposite in time, but what happens is very similar. I've always said that about winter and summer. A lot of stuff is somewhat similar in where the fish are. Same thing with spring and fall. And it makes it very accessible because these fish are widespread. Now, a transition is going to take place. Again, these temperatures are trending colder and colder. We're going to start to get into November. Daytime temperatures, that's when everybody around the country will start hitting some freezing temperatures. The water's going to be getting colder and colder. You guys up north, you're going to start getting into some very cold water temperatures. Not ice yet in November, but it'll be coming in December, depending on what happens weather-wise. And from there, things will start to slow, especially for the flathead catfish and especially for the channel catfish. Channel catfish can be caught longer. The blues, the overall bite is going to trend slower, but these fish tolerate cold temperatures probably better than any of the other catfish species as far as staying active enough to pursue and to catch. And that's the good thing if you have blues. Channel catfish, you guys that just got channel catfish, don't worry. You can still catch them. You're not going to catch them at the rate you're catching them right now or you were catching them a month ago in, August and September. But they can still be caught and they will still be caught. So some of the biggest channel catfish we catch, I have caught actually in the wintertime, and they're usually oriented to deeper water then. So that's kind of what happens. But it's that time of the year when it can be really good fishing. A lot of you asking about bait, ways to fish. For me, I love covering water just because you can see what's going on, whether they're deep, shallow, whatever they're doing that particular day. But you guys that anchor a boat down or bank fish in one place, again, like I said earlier, you're not behind the eight ball during this time of the year. You can still be in a good place. It's also a good time to be out bank fishing, get you a campfire going if you can build a fire where you're at. And it's a beautiful time to be out. It's a beautiful time to see the changing of the leaves, the color, everything that's going on. So it's a good time to be out. But as far as techniques, a lot of stuff will work right now. That is the other beautiful thing about fall. There's you. It's a very forgiving time to fish, and techniques aren't super duper important. More important is put the time out there and figure out where fish are. Bait wise, same thing. There's a lot of stuff works right now. The good old standby chicken. You still got a lot of fish feeding on mussels. If you have mussels where you're at, the Asiatic clams, the aquatic snails, that kind of stuff, the chicken's going to work in those areas. But also the cut bait. If you're using shad, bluegill, herring, moon eye, whatever the fish is that area you're using, they're all going to work right now. Some days, some things are better than others. But, put you out a variety of baits. And that's been a big thing I've tried to talk about recently on bait size, is that if you don't have big fish, or a lot of big fish, you're not going to catch a lot of fish. Downsize some of the baits. If you're able to fish multiple rods, if you can fish 2 rods, put out one with a small bait, one with the big bait, and see what's working, see what's working for fish. Because sometimes, and people have seen this repeatedly on guide trips, we can't buy fish on a big bait, but we will catch 20 and 30 pound fish on little bitty baits. Why is that? I don't know. That's a whole nother podcast where we can talk about bait size and what goes on. But the theory is they're just not wanting to stuff themselves, and that's just the way it can work sometimes. So it's expect things to get colder. Things are going to trend colder. Bite is going to slow, but we're still in a fish catching time right now. We're not to the big slowdown yet. Now's the time to be out there. I think a lot of it's going to depend on weather. We've had overall a pretty mild fall as far as weather. Not a lot of really violent storms. We've had a line that came through, but this time of year you can get a lot of tornadic activity, torrential rains, tropical systems coming in. It's been pretty benign this fall. Not a lot of weather drama going on, and I think that's kept fishing kind of steady and not spiking at any, which, I think weather can help you get a good spike in a bite. It can also help kill a bite, but it can also help spike it. I think it's kept things kind of steady. So far we've had none of that. So I think that's kind of kept the bite less than spectacular, but it's still been good. It's still been very fishable. You hadn't anything to really slow you down. So that's kind of my take on it. Obviously, this stuff varies different parts of the country, but out of everything I see here, there's little things you can pluck out of it and apply to where you're fishing. And the biggest one is get out and fish. That's the name of the game. Right now, at the taping of this, I'm in the middle of deer season. I came back from a several day hunt. Knocking out some videos for you guys and some content. I'll be back in the deer woods. I spent a lot of October deer hunting, and deer hunting since I was a kid. I love it. Is part of the reason I've honestly designed my entire life around deer season, and I take the time to do it and enjoy it. But come November, I'm back in the wood, or back on the water. Still in the woods some. Be heading out to Kentucky. But yeah, I'm back on the water pretty heavy by the end of November. I've hit it hard. I've got about 7 weeks of time in the woods and plenty of time to enjoy it. And the world changes. You got to think here, in first week in November, time changes, or the clocks shift. And, we start to get into our pattern, our rhythm of, it getting dark earlier. It doesn't really get any dark earlier. We just have less daylight. We just, shift the time around. But it changes our frame of mind and our mentality on doing stuff, and fitting into our lifestyle. It also changes when we're going fishing and when we're finishing up, so it changes there. And we'll be doing another podcast talking about that winter phase. Right now we're in the fall phase to middle of it, but winter's down the road. We still got a couple of months, so for now, enjoy the good fishing of the fall. We'll talk about winter down the road. We'll catch you guys out on the water.